All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual who's in a feature bout at Glory Collision 4, and that goes down October the 8th. A very high-stakes trilogy bout going down between Badr Hari and Alistair Overeem, and happy to be welcoming Alistair on the show for the first time. How's your day going so far, Alistair?
Yeah, good. It's evening here now. About to eat some sushi and then call it a night. Camp almost done, so happy about that. Camp has been long, has been tough. Amazing shape. Very happy, very proud of all things happening. So we linked up with the old K1 crew from 2010. And we've just been rocking it for the last year, I would say.
Yeah, and what does that represent, like, for maybe someone who is, like, newer to the kickboxing fold? Like, who's that old, like, old K1 crew you've been getting in that work with for this one?
So, I've been fighting K1 since 2008, and actually not my first, but my reintroduction into the K1 was against Badr. 2008, the Dynamite show, New Year's Eve show, going into 2009. And then that fight literally propelled me into the Grand Prix, 2009, where we had the rematch. And then, once you've done one K1 Grand Prix, you kind of get the hang of it because it's cool. It's like the tournament style, a lot of media attention. The fans are awesome. Now you have these big sold-out stadiums, 50, 60,000 people, millions of home viewers. And we didn't make it the first K1 Grand Prix. We got actually eliminated by Badr in the rematch. So that was the rematch between me and Badr. So now we're 1-1. But that did prompt me to fight again in the Grand Prix in 2010, and then I won it. So all good memories. And back to your original question, so the crew that I won the K1 2010 Grand Prix with, Corey Hemmers. So that's famed father of Ramon Dekkers, big kickboxing legend. Go on YouTube, check him out. Ramon Dekkers. He's been amazing fighting for 25, 30 years. A lot of fights in Thailand, over 200 fights, by the way. Fights in Netherlands, fights all over. And that's basically my crew, my posse, and linked up with them after UFC. Because striking is their thing, high level striking, and we've just been rocking it ever since.
Yeah, stellar crew, no doubt, and it seems like you've been out in Thailand getting some work too. It looks like, based on, at least visually from what I can tell, maybe you're getting in that work at Tiger Muay Thai. Is that the space you're honing skills at?
Absolutely not. I was in Koh Samui for a bit, and then now I'm in Pattaya. And again, we're training with Team Hemmers. So that's my crew, and I flew them all in, and we're all here working. Actually, there was another fighter in the team, Marat, Grigorian, who had a fight at once. So they just left a couple days ago, and we're just wrapping up camp now, and we're going to head back to Netherlands soon. So there's multiple guys in camp at the same time, great energy. As always, and just getting ready for the fights, just like back in 2010.
Yeah, and that was such an incredible run for sure. I remember watching that as it was taking place back then. But you mentioned the first two meetings, taking place in 2008 and then 2009, respectively. Is this rubber match almost in a way more intriguing, being that it's removed a little bit from that timeline, or how would you look at that?
I think it does have its charms. I think it does have its mystiques because, of course, Badr has changed as a person. I have changed as a person. And also we had this brief moment in 2014, was it, or 13? It was 13 that we briefly trained together. Actually, we were not really friends, but we were in the same space. So there has been some analyzing going on from there. And I think it does build up to the mystique of things.
Yeah, and I would think you'd be excited just getting back out there and getting something going anyway. I mean, not for lack of trying. Like, obviously, variables were in play with that Rico fight being called off last year. But, like, I'd imagine you're, tangibly quite excited getting back out there to compete.
Absolutely. Very excited. Very happy. The report shape is very strong. Very strong. I have to say, I'm my best shape at 42 years of age. So we can't wait to get in there.
Yeah, for sure. And then it seems like the Glory kickboxing title is in your crosshairs thereafter. Obviously, if you get the desired outcome there, I guess, like, in the context of returning after a bit of a hiatus, like I said, would there be a desired timeline to want to have that title bid, like maybe a quicker turnaround to facilitate competing more, or kind of just like however everything lines up, you're good?
Well, so there are some moving parts here because Rico is fighting himself at his own event in November. So I'm fighting October and he's fighting November. So it's not going to be that quick a turnaround. I think it'll more likely be, I don't know, April, May-ish, which is fine to me. Maybe April, May-ish. Could be even June. No rush.
Yeah, just a very exciting time. It seems like there's a lot of options available to you as well. Like I think I was listening to an Ariel Helwani interview you did where you were saying that there's like a level of flexibility to almost like take opportunities outside of Glory. Are there other defined, mapped out goals you have maybe outside of the umbrella, just stuff you'd like to achieve in your deep combat sports career still?
Well, to me, it's not that many goals. I have in my mind 2 or 3 fights. So that'll be, the Badr fight and the Rico fight, and then there's a possibility for a final MMA fight. That's what I have in my mind. So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. As long as I have pleasure in what I'm doing. But I still have a lot of pleasure in what I'm doing. That is the thing. But it's not that I do know that it's not going to be more than those 3 fights. I do believe that it will be my time to pass on the knowledge. Of course, I've been very fortunate to may have learned so many things over the last 30 years of training, 25 years of competing. So it'll be time to pass on the knowledge. There's been so many things I learned about, of course, the fight game, but also longevity, values, respect, health, diet, you name it, in all realms, right? Because that's striking, grappling, wrestling. Of course, now we're going back into striking, but always just try to reinvent myself and make myself better. So it'll come to the next phase. Pass on the knowledge, pass on the things that I've learned myself. Next generations.
Yeah, and how much has that like adaptability and open-mindedness been a benefit for your career? I mean, like you're very good with like the recuperative measures, like the Wim Hof cold breathing, and you've always made like pretty thoughtful, noticeable like amendments to your style over the years. Like how much of that, I guess, open-mindedness has lent itself to your longevity and just having the career you've had?
I would say that has been everything because, I kind of saw the whole fighting thing as a gigantic exploration, right? That's how I treated it anyways. It's a gigantic exploration of the spirit, but also the body. How far can you take things? You're trying all kinds of stuff all the time. You're going to fall down. You're going to get back up. You're learning. You're failing. You're making conclusions. You're being victorious. So it's just a huge playground of activities, which literally took me all over the world. Now I'm in Thailand, but of course, still residing in the States. Last 10 years, been all over the States. Previous to that, the career was 11 years in Japan. So literally one big adventure. Exactly how I wanted it. But it's been crucial learning all the things, all the steps, all the key steps that one thing leads to another. And again, I just saw it as one big adventure.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it there, just talking about the portion of your career in Japan, and a bit earlier you were talking about like potentially taking one more MMA fight, like towards the tail end of the 3-fight arc you outlined there. Do you see your swan song maybe being with, a promotion like Ryzen, for example, just to like go out there and compete in front of the Japanese fans one more time, or are you not even thinking about that?
Ryzen would be nice. So we're going to look at the options, right? Because it depends on what is there. I don't know what Ryzen is doing these days. I do believe that the Japanese MMA market is not that active. It might as well be ONE FC, or it might as well be KSW. Bellator also an option. So there's options. And it's all about what are the details, what are we getting ourselves into, and we'll be looking at all the factors, all the facets, and then we'll make a clear-cut decision.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I feel like I saw you at a relatively recent KSW show doing an interview. Were you already kind of thinking of that sort of promotion in a sense before that? Was like the production and spectacle kind of like, oh, this would be a good outlet to perform for? Because it is like a very huge.
I wasn't thinking of the promotion, but I happened to be in Poland for some seminars, and then we actually were driving past this huge stadium, and I was looking. I was like, hey, it's kind of crossed my mind, right? Is that not that stadium that KSW one time held that massive event, 60,000 spectators? And the guide with me, a Polish guide, said, yeah, that's there. So you Googled the pictures, and that event was spectacular, right? And I think it was even the biggest MMA event. So these things definitely garnered my attention. And again, coincidentally, we met with the promoters that same event. So the interest is there, mutual interest is there. I also like the fact that they are holding the world's biggest event. The audience is amazing, right? A lot of Polish talents coming out of there, a lot of love from Polish fans. So all these things, very cool, and immediately garner my attention.
Yeah, and just this timeline seems like a very interesting one for you, just like this next one being, in the Netherlands and stuff like that, and just like closing out the career with like both kickboxing and what sounds like MMA aspirations too, and starting both of those sports the same year in 1999. Like, I feel like a lot of people talk about like fighters don't necessarily get to go out the way they want to go out. Do you think you're very much presenting yourself with an opportunity to do that, like kind of like dovetail the career in like your most idealistic way, I suppose?
Would be very cool, and we're putting all efforts in that basket, so we're making that happen. I can correct you, by the way, my first kickboxing fight was 97, so 1997 was my first kickboxing fight. MMA was 1999, so it's been a long ride.
Yeah, a lot of experience had for sure, and it seems like maybe pro wrestling is potentially on the radar, which kind of piqued my interest a bit. I'm a bit of a pro wrestling nerd there and everything. Is that still something you're looking at doing maybe this year? I know like there's been a couple event cancellations with it, obviously beyond your control there. Is that something you still see yourself doing? Like, do you make the pro wrestling debut in 2022, you think?
I do not think so. That actually was an appearance-based thing, and it kind of fell through, so I don't know what's going on that front. To be honest, it was kind of an interest for a while, but I don't know. I don't see my future there. Even though the world is interesting and it has its kinks, I don't see my future there.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean,
who knows, right?
Yeah, no, never say never. I can get what you're laying down in that kind of sense there, but no, I mean, a lot of great opportunities for sure. But I guess one thing I wanted to kind of talk about too, because like you were in the UFC for a while, and like in the last few years they've developed, I guess, more of like a uniformity to the presentation. And I really remember those Demolition Man, Big Hammer entrances from Pride back in the day. Like, I mean, not giving anything away with the entrance, but is there like a more performative kind of fun aspect planned for this entrance, or maybe not so much?
No, my brother, we're just gonna go get out there and get the win done. We're gonna have to destroy this guy, tank from him. That's I think the time for a show, there's a time for that, but I do not believe this is that time. I think this is the time to fight and show my amazing shape that I'm in currently.
Yeah, no doubt. You very much seem ready to go in a lot of regards, but yeah, I've been following the career for a decent while. I remember those like K1 videos back in the day when you did you pretty much represented like a tower of sushi when they asked how much sushi you eat. Are you still putting away that much sushi these days, or?
To be honest, I'm going to show you something. Let's have a look. How do I turn this camera around? I think I did it right over there. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Look at this. Not that big a tower as before, but we're still. I mean, this is my second day sushi today. So, yeah, if you can put them all together, it's a tower.
No, it's awesome though, and yeah, certain food-related things seem to kind of follow along your career as well. Like when I told my brother, for instance, I was interviewing you today, he was like, "Oh, ask him where horse meat ranks in his hierarchy of meats."
I actually heard that one the last couple of weeks. Yeah. So are you in the States? Where are you?
I'm in Canada, actually.
Canada, okay. So in the States and in Canada, I believe, people do not really eat horse, right? It's kind of like considered not really cool to do that. But in the Netherlands, people actually do that. And you can go to the butcher, you can get yourself some horse steak. It's not that common thing, but I don't know. It started for me years ago, and I just once in a while do that. So it's not an everyday for me to do that. Because yes, I do also love horses and animals for that matter.
Yeah, I remember I tried to get a horse meat steak going on my birthday one year, and Mom wasn't really going for it back in the day. But yeah, you've had some good meats over the years. It seems like I saw you had that 24-karat gold steak last year. That looked pretty fancy.
Oh yeah, that was this Kokolo, awesome restaurant is in Croatia, which has there's good restaurants everywhere, but this one was unique. And it's kind of like my go-to spot every time I'm in Croatia. Lovely country, by the way. Oh, lovely coast. Every time I'm there, I will visit Kokolo. Thank you guys, Kokolo, with the golden steak.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. But I don't want to, overstep my bounds too much. I imagine you're a busy guy. I'm sure I could ask you tons of more questions, but I appreciate the time and the insights, man. So just in being mindful of your schedule, is there anything you maybe want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up, Alistair?
Listen, enjoy October 8th. I've literally put heart and soul, into my entire fight career, but also during this fight camp. It's been a long camp. The shape is amazing. I truly believe I'm in the best shape of my life at age 42. Just the number, I'm 24, right? But enjoy fans, fight fans all over the world, Badr fans, Alistair fans. It's going to be a great night, and because I will enjoy. I know I will enjoy. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible rubber match, one I'm very much excited for. And yeah, Glory Collision 4. People can check out the three-peat with Overeem and Hari. That's going to be a great one. But yeah, I'll let you go and enjoy your sushi there, Alistair. You have a good rest of your day, and looking forward to checking out the fight, man.
I'm sure we'll speak again soon.